friends, this is a video of me drawing a bad joke and an adorable cat sticker. I wanted to draw a little cactus cat, a succulent, that's the bad joke part, sitting in a planter. So this is me going through the thumbnails, trying to decide what sort of composition I want, what sort of image weight I want. Originally I thought I wanted a cat sitting upright because I thought that would be super cute, just have an alert cat looking right at the viewer. But going through the thumbnails, it wasn't my favorite. Every time I click to start recording, the dog gets up and drinks some water. None of the cats sitting upright were my favorite. The two that I took from like the teeny tiny thumbnail stage and ended up sketching larger to see what I liked better were both laying down, so that's why you do thumbnails, to get the bad ideas out. I've started this audio recording like 12 times by now. If I don't start popping my fingers because I'm anxious, then the dog sneezes or the dog gets up to drink some water or something. I'm just gonna go with it. Hopefully I'll go with it. I really hope that you hear this disaster. I really hope, because that means that I didn't start the recording over again. I don't know where I was. Something about composition, blah blah blah, image weight. That's why you do thumbnails, because your first idea is usually not the best idea. Whatever, here we go. I tried really hard to make this flower on the end of the tail work, because flowers on cacti are really cute, but I just didn't like the visuals. It'll go away. So those little petals on the side, I had drawn them down there because compositionally it weights the picture, in my opinion, and removing them may have made it a weaker picture objectively, but I just didn't like it, so I decided to get rid of them. And the flowers, cutting the flowers hurt me in my heart, but they weren't working, so they had to go. Plus they made me think of those flowers that, like one of the cactus types. Is it a moon cactus? I don't remember. The flower on top is actually grafted. It's not naturally there, and the cactus and the flower only live. The cactus and the flower only live for a year or two, and then they both just kind of die. And that's actually kind of sad to think about, especially on a cat who is not a cactus. I mean, it's sad on the cactus too. It makes me very sad to say goodbye to those plants when I've had a couple people give them to me as gifts in the past, and it just makes me really sad. The sketching phase. Okay, because this was going to be a sticker. It's a product that I'm going to sell. I'm doing a lot more fiddling than I normally do. So all the bits and bobs, you can see I sketched them in different colors, and I end up with a lot more layers than I normally had, so that I could easily tell what part of the body was overlapping what. The head in particular got moved around a lot because I really thought that the nose and the little smile were adorable, and I wanted to be able to see just a hint of them instead of having them completely covered. And also the face is just too far forward. I think I fixed that later, but that's why my sketch was so very separated. Yeah, there I am, fixing the face. Good job, me. That's why the sketch was so separated, because I wanted to be able to see what I was doing clearly and edit what I thought was incorrect. And then, of course, I cleaned up the sketch all in one layer, because that's just how I prefer to work as an artist. You'll see, like if you watch the layers tab, I don't know why you would, because that's really boring, but if you do, you'll see that I do actually end up with a lot of layers, because I like to work on one layer. I need to preserve my process for a product. So how do I explain this? It's a lossless file. Like what I was doing with the planter, I drew the entire thing. I drew the background, even though you weren't going to see that outside lip. I drew it separately, and I drew it on its own layer, just in case I needed it later. And then I didn't erase it. I put a masking layer on, and I masked the parts that you wouldn't see, so that I preserved those just in case I would need them, because it's a product. It's not a regular painting. It's just, it needs to be fiddled with a little bit better, because a painting, if I look at it later, like any piece of work you do, you're gonna look at it later and be like, I could have done that better. That's just the price of being an artist, is looking at your stuff and going, oh yeah, this is nice. I could do it better now. Dog. Please. And it's just what you do as an artist, but for a product, something I'm gonna sell, something that I want to produce for a while, you want to try and get rid of as much of that as possible. So that's why I'm really fiddly with this, which I guess you wouldn't know in comparison to my other art, because I haven't uploaded videos of other art, except for Mudbray, who had a similar process, but I didn't fiddle nearly as much because I just wanted to be a repeating pattern for me. Someday I'll upload actual paintings, like actual illustration paintings, and you'll see what I mean when I say that this isn't my normal process. You're going to think that this is my normal process. And it is, to an extent. It's just I don't noodle this much normally. I don't think. Maybe I do. Maybe I do and I just didn't know it. I don't think I do. Because even in this picture I reached a point of like, alright, I'm done. That's it. Bye. I don't care anymore. It's done. I don't want to perfect it forever. Even though I do think that this is a really cute picture, and I'm very pleased with the amount of time that I spent on it and how it came out, especially considering all of the trials and tribulations. I'm sorry, if you could just ignore the jingling dog collar and maybe the dog lapping up water. I'm sorry. I'm not professional. I know. I knew this in the last one too. The video I uploaded last year, where I was like, yeah, I'm gonna start doing this, and then I knew life was gonna take over and make things difficult, but it was important to me to start what I could when I could, which is what this is. But clearly I'm just not professional. Just ignore the dog, please. And me too, if you want. I'm so distracted by my own disaster. I do think this cat turned out super cute. I don't have any hot art tips for anyone. I don't really have anything to explain my process. All I have are apologies and a hope that I will do more of these, and maybe I'll get better. I am actually buying a new microphone, so I don't have the microphone I'm using right now as a headset that is literally falling apart and has been for a good year. I just haven't replaced it because why would I? Why would I replace the equipment for the thing that I wanted to do for years? Why would I do that? That's silly. That's silly. I added touches of orange on the cat to warm it up. I really love greens and yellows. I really love earthy colors, but I thought that those splashes of orange and kind of peach around the face added a bit of life and warmth and gave you a bit to focus on. The little eyelashes. I don't know why I'm such a fan of doing that lately. I have been looking at too many pictures of horses, I think, and their beautiful, beautiful eyelashes, because suddenly everything I draw, I'm like, I want you to have the most glorious eyelashes over your eyelashes. Those little petals actually started to freak me out as I was working on this. At this point, before this point even, I knew that I wasn't happy with those, but I couldn't quite figure out why. I didn't like them, and they were starting to give me the heebie-jeebies when nothing else was. And I realized eventually that I think it's because they were growing so much out of the cat's body in a place that isn't perhaps naturally more fluffy than normal. Like the ones by the elbow, that could be for shoved up, that could just be more cactus growing up around it, which I think was the original thought, but now I'm just like, whatever. But the ones by the butt, like, it sort of takes on a... You know how in The Last of Us, the zombies are just mushrooms? It kind of felt like that. It felt like a bad growth, so I end up cutting them off so that they're behind the cat and less of a focus of like, this is straight up coming right out of this cat's booty. Hiccup. Flynn is now whining into sleep. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I messed myself up here because, well, in a second. I'm just adding small details to the fluffs and solidifying some of the line art that was a little bit too blurry. But I messed myself up because I copied and pasted. Okay, so I put all of those layers that I had been working on, these are my cat layers. I had grouped them together, but I had also grouped the base layer. I put them all in a group, and then I merged them and I duplicate it. That's how I save. That's like my lossless save method, so that I have it in case I need it, even though I almost never need it. It's just an ingrained brain problem of, hey, you need to save that. You need to save that, just in case you have a problem. So I spent a good long while going, wait a second, what do I do with this planter now? Because my inclination is just to paint over it, because I like to paint on one layer. And I just was like, wait, that's not going to work, because eventually I would like to do multiple planters. I haven't done them yet. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Who knows? No one ever knows. But I messed myself up there because I was like, oh no, this doesn't work with my natural style. I did a lot of messing myself up on this picture, because this picture actually took 4 months for me to complete. 4 months, because I got really sad in the middle of it, and then I had a migraine, and looking at those bright greens with a migraine was terrible. But I did it. I did it. Doesn't sound like an accomplishment to do one single picture in 4 months, but it was. I am proud of myself. I actually had to Google the difference between cat and dog paws here. It's just possibly very silly, but I did, and then I decided I didn't like how they looked anyway. If you made it to the end, thank you for listening to me ramble and be nonsensical for 14 minutes. If you could do me a favor, if you actually watched all this and if you felt like it, could you let me know how the speed is? Like, should the drawing be faster? I feel like it's asking a lot of people to ask them to watch 14 minutes of me drawing a sticker. Okay, I'm running out of time. I love you. Bye.